A little bit earlier, we caught up with their head coach, Bob Cervetto, in his 8th year there with the Lions. Pretty fired up, as you can hear. Here's our conversation with Dublin coach Bob Cervetto here on Texas Football Today. Let's go to the Dairy Max Built by Nature hotline, where we are joined by the head coach of the 3-0 Dublin Lions. It is Coach Bob Cervetto. Coach, congratulations on a big win over Dilion on Friday night.
Well, thank you very much. The kids played really, really hard.
It was, and you know you were up against a very good Dilion team, but you guys are off to your first 3-0 start since 1999. This is on the heels of a you've already doubled you've already matched your win total from last year. What is the difference maybe in this year's team? What have you seen that's really sparking the squad?
Well, we probably have a little more maturity. A lot of those kids were on the team last year, and we're about 3 plays away from coming in third place in that district last year. We had tied Kohler. Right at the end of the game, went for 2, got it, tied them up 20-28. Had the ball with 40 seconds to go, and fourth down, the snapper snapped it over the punter's head, went in the end zone for a safety. We lose it 30-28, and the next week we play Coleman. Coleman's a pretty good team, and lose 28-20, and we've got a 50-yard touchdown close back right up the middle. I mean, it's almost biblical. And, it's just one of those things. It just, that ball didn't bounce just right, but the kids had fought. And we've on purpose had a real difficult schedule last 2 years, along with a difficult district schedule. So we knew we had to learn to play with the guys so that way when we get into games like we had Friday night, we try not to be too phased about having a team that's a top 10 or top 20 team.
Well, it's back-to-back weeks you guys have come out with big wins at home over ranked teams. The week before it was Albany, who's a perennial power as well. You mentioned how last year you guys were you felt like you were really close, that you're one or two plays away in each game. Is there a way you can teach your team to finish, or is it just something that kind of has to naturally come?
Well, Greg is still here. When we took the job 8 years ago, we told him, this isn't about, winning a football game. This is about changing the culture. And, and that's kind of the mantra that we've been staying with and, getting in the community and meeting parents, our Hispanic parents, and getting them to buy in with us and, just trying to change everything. And, this last year, we got great support from the administration and built a new track, did some things with our facilities, baseball. Got 3 gyms on campus, providing opportunities for our kids to be successful. In turns, they've been walking better in general, boys and girls. And even though it's not a good system, we scored an A, on the report card that came out from the state of Texas. We scored a 94%, which put us in the 16% of the state of Texas that received A's. So everything's kind of going hand in hand with how our kids have been. And I think they're learning to work a little harder in some areas that's really giving them a chance to be successful. And it's just kind of bleeding over to everything we're doing.
We're talking with Bob Cervetto, the head coach of the Dublin Lions here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, there's so much to talk about with your squad. I definitely want to talk about your offense here in a minute, but to me, one of the big reasons you guys are playing the way you are is your defense. Your defense is significantly improved over last year. You're giving up just 23 points a game, which maybe sounds like a lot to folks, but at the same time, considering the opposition you've gone up against and considering the fact that that's down from almost 38 points a game last year, what do you think has been the difference defensively for you guys that has you guys out to this start?
Well, we had a really good offseason, and we had a really good summer conditioning. By the end of summer conditioning, we started off running 10-10s, and then we ran 15-15s, and then we ran 20-20s. And by the time the week before before 2 days started, we were running 50-50s. And our kids are able to run, and they're conditioned well. And you can tell the kids that came every day were religious. Our defense has just gotten so much quicker, plus the ability to have our new track. Our track was located across town, and hard to get kids to be involved and run. And now with the track on campus, kids are coming out and they're seeing results. about running, where in the past running's just one of those things. You either like it or you don't like it. And we're trying to get some kids to like it. But we're a little bit quicker on defense, which enables us to do a few more things.
Of course, there is the offense, and maybe the quarterback with the single best name in the state. Cy Wing, the quarterback for your Lions, has been dazzling as a junior. I know this is a kid who played a lot of defense really last year. For those who may not be familiar with this young man, what can you tell us about him?
Well, Kai's a neat kid. He's never, he's the kind of quarterback you want because he's never too high over the highs, never too low over the lows. You can't tell whether he just threw a 70-yard touchdown pass or threw an interception, then ran his butt down there and missed a tackle at the goal line. So, I mean, he's that type of guy that you really want back there because the rest of the kids stay pretty steady with him. So he's a tremendous leader and does a really good job.
The other side that I think stands out to me is it seems like your offensive line's playing their tail off right now. And we don't talk enough about the big hog mollies up front. Did you have a feeling that your offensive line would be this good, or is this a little bit of a surprise so far?
Well, it's really been kind of a surprise. That was kind of our concern going into the season. We knew we'd have some skilled kids, but we didn't know how our offense and defensive lines would be. And, we've got enough kids where we're really not having we're able to two-platoon our offensive defensive lines, and our offensive line has really started to gel. Mm-hmm. And so that's really been a fun thing for us because, they can move, they can get where they got to get. And so that's been a real surprise to us and really excited to see how they've responded.
We're talking with Bob Cervetto, the head coach of the Dublin Lions here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. All right, Coach, so next up on the horizon, a trip to Brady to take on the Bulldogs. I know you're already starting game prep. Not going to ask you to give away your game plan. But when you look ahead, to Friday night, what are you up against this Brady squad?
We're up against ourselves. So I told the kids this morning in the weight room. I said, all year long, every time we get ready to play, we got ready to play high coach. Said this is the game of the year because it's the next one. I know they're coaches' cliches, but you get looking past somebody and you get your butt beat. Mm-hmm. And then this morning I told him, I said, this game's really going to test us. And I said the reason for that is there's going to be a lot of people that at school going to be slapping you on the back telling you, how great you are and what kind of job you've done. It's still 0-0 in district. Mm-hmm. And our saying every day is, we've got a big sign in the weight room that says, you got to get better every day. And I said, we're not playing the Brady Bulldogs. We're playing the Dublin Lions, and we got to see if we're going to be better at the end of Friday night after the game with Brady than we were at the game with DeLeon. I said, that's what we can control. We control ourselves. We can't control what Brady does. We take care of what the Dublin Lions can do. I said, let everything else take care of itself. And so far, we're staying with that. And, we've improved every Friday night, and that's been a really big key, I think.
Nobody likes to look ahead, so I'm, of course, going to ask you to look ahead. But specifically, realignment's come and gone, and you guys are dropped into a district. Comanche, Toller, Jacksboro. It's a tough, deep district that's going to test you. When you look at what you're up against down the road in District 6 3A Division 2, from your perspective, what are you seeing?
Well, when realignment came out, people said, "Oh, man, you must like it. You don't have Cisco and Eastland." And I said, "Well, evidently you didn't pay attention very well, because the Comanche Ball Club, it goes 4 rounds deep. Mm-hmm. I was at the game when Jacksboro got beat by New Diana, and it was on the last second pass play. So they're 3 rounds deep, almost going 4 rounds deep. A Toller squad has got a tremendous coaching staff, know them real well. Daddy Keith is on the staff with Coach Mullins. And I said, those guys go 2 rounds deep. I said, we got our work cut out for us. And, Millsap's improving like a son of God. Rio Vista, Jeffrey's doing a good job over there trying to get them up. Mm-hmm. We still got to come out and play. And those, knowing our neighboring district, and you got, in one poll, you got Gunner and Holiday, number 1 and number 2. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at that thing and you say, man, you come in 3 and 4 in our district. You got your work cut out on who you got to play. So you got to get ready to play those top ball clubs of Toller And I'm not taking anything away from Millsap,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to get Poland, you got to get Jacksonville, you got to get Comanche, because you want to be 1 or 2 in that by district round. So we know that, but like we try not to mention that to the kids, but they're pretty smart. But we're just trying to stay with one game at a time, because that Toller game, October 12th,
Mm-hmm.
is going to be really, really big.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a huge one.
Yeah, because that one will set the tone for the rest of the district. You bet.
You're exactly right. And Coach, I want to ask you one more thing. You mentioned you're in your 8th year here at Dublin. You took over back in 2011. Inherited an 0-10 team. Hadn't won a playoff game since 1964. I know you're not the kind of person to sit around and think about the past and the things you've accomplished, but is there a sense of pride in kind of the way that this program has progressed since you took it over in 2011?
Well, there's a part of me that says, this is really neat where we are. And I walk out the door from the weight room, and I see our weight room that got refurbished. See our locker rooms. We had to get changed because we didn't have enough lockers for kids. And I see the track. There's times I pinch myself and say, wow, I never thought this would be like this. Got a great administration. They see the vision of trying to do what's best for our kids. And in turn, our kids are responding. And they understand they're not entitled to this stuff. The teams prior to them had to work their butt off. And because these kids are working diligently, there's people in the community that says, yes, let's do this. And so they're seeing, they're reaping the rewards of what previous teams have done, girls and guys. And, there is that sense of satisfaction. But, until the day I retire and go sit with a fishing pole out in the back and really look back, you're just kind of looking ahead saying, here we go, next one up on the list. But the kids and the community have responded so well, and it's kind of given life back into the community, and a lot of buzz going on just in the town itself, and that makes it nice. So, I had an old gentleman come up to me about 2 years ago at a convenience store, and he had his coveralls on. He said, Coach, I said, yes, sir. He said, I just want to tell you, he said, it has nothing to do with football. I said, yes, sir. He goes, but people sure are smiling a little bit more. And I walked out kind of chuckling, but I thought, isn't that cool? That everybody, given, because when you get in this profession, any coach will tell you that, we're just trying to give kids hope.
Mm-hmm.
And when you finally get into the community and they see that there's hope and kids are doing well, the community starts responding and they're doing things well, then things get to be moving a little bit faster forward. So that really is kind of cool.
It's a good time to be in Dublin, Texas right now with the 3-0 Dublin Lions and their coach, Bob Cervetto. Make sure you see them Friday night when they take on Brady at Bulldog Stadium. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations on the great win on Friday night and your hot start, and best of luck Friday night and down the road.
Well, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it, buddy.